This page is the front cover of the official guide for The House of the Dead. It clearly displays the game title in large, stylized lettering in both English and Japanese. The cover also prominently features the Sega Saturn logo and the Sega official branding, indicating it's an official guide for the Sega Saturn console. The artwork depicts a scene with zombies and a person pointing a gun, setting the horror theme of the game. Japanese text also features prominently, including phrases like official guide and taglines that suggest the book is a complete strategy guide for surviving the horrors of the House of the Dead. This page is the title page of the official guide for The House of the Dead. It re-emphasizes the game title prominently in both English and Japanese, The House of the Dead, and the page features the Sega Saturn logo and the Sega official branding at the top, confirming it's an official guide. Below the main title, it says Official Guide in English vertically and in Japanese horizontally. The artwork continues the horror theme from the front cover, with zombies and a character wielding a gun, reinforcing the game's genre and content. This page appears to be the opening page of The House of the Dead Official Guide, continuing directly from the title page. The text on the left reiterates the game's title as The House of the Dead Official Guide, presented vertically down the page. The image features the same intense horror atmosphere as the cover, showing a person in action firing a gun at a horde of zombies, emerging from a doorway engulfed in a bright light, typical of the game's scenarios. It sets the stage for the guide's content, promising to delve into the world of The House of the Dead. This page is the front cover of the official guide for the game The House of the Dead on the Sega Saturn. The cover prominently displays the game's title, The House of the Dead, in large, stylized lettering, and clearly states, Official Guide for Saturn at the top. The background image sets a dark and eerie mood, typical of the horror game genre, with a shadowy figure that appears to be one of the undead creatures featured in the game. This page delves into the chilling backstory of the House of the Dead saga, setting the scene in a world at the end of the century, where mad scientists unleash grotesque monsters upon an unsuspecting populace. It details the unfolding events at the ominous DBR Corp, a secret government research facility. Starting in May of 1998, Drive Curien, the head of DBR Corp, pursues his disturbing research theme of giving life. By August, despite his initial normalcy, Drive Curien is suddenly dismissed from his post. Things take a dark turn in November, when strange occurrences plague DBR Corp, where Thomas Rogan's fiancée, Sophie Richards, works. Staff begin to vanish, hinting at sinister experiments. By December, the disappearance of DBR researchers becomes a serious incident, yet it's kept hidden from the public due to DBR Corp's clandestine nature. On December 18th, the government, alarmed by Dr. Curien's suspicious activities, dispatches special operatives to his mansion, fearing his plan is nearing completion and researchers are in grave danger. The last communication from these operatives speaks of rapidly escalating chaos. Finally, on December 20th, recognizing the dire situation, the government sends operatives G and Thomas Rogan to confront the unfolding horror at Curien's mansion. Thomas Rogan is particularly driven as he's determined to rescue his fiancée Sophie. The page ends on a cliffhanger, questioning Drive Curien's true objective and Sophie's fate, proclaiming this as the prologue to destruction and the raising of the curtain on the terrifying events to come. Driven by a lust for power, Drive Curien, dismissed from DBR Corp for reckless bioresearch, sought to create superior lifeforms. Grief over his son's death fueled his vengeful ambition, using his mansion as a secret lab. His goal, a being surpassing humanity, the magician, was the prototype, meant to be obedient. However, a mystery man secretly reprogrammed the magician, hinting at an outside force. This figure, also interested in creating superior beings, seemingly manipulated researchers at DBR Corp, a government-run facility specializing in DNA manipulation. Researchers, forced into Curien's dangerous work, met a grim end, becoming zombies, highlighting the ethically questionable nature of their advanced research. This page is a promotional poster for The House of the Dead game. It features the game's title in a bold, stylized font at the top, along with Presented by AM1. The poster uses the tagline, Don't go in the house. Alone. Visually, it displays a woman with blonde hair screaming in fear and a grotesque zombie looming behind her. In the background, a shadowy figure is silhouetted against a yellow moon. The bottom of the page includes a small caption in Japanese, which mentions that this poster was used for location tests of The House of the Dead, and is an illustration in the style of a 1960s B-movie horror poster, intended to be slightly comical, while still conveying a sense of unease. The next page presents the contents of this guide, breaking down the game into key sections. Firstly, it lays out the core elements, with sections on the story, character introductions, initial setting materials, system explanations, and basic techniques. Then it dives into gameplay strategies, focusing on stage-by-stage breakdowns for Tragedy, Revenge, Truth, and the House of the Dead stages. Beyond stage guides, there's an enemy file, information on part-specific damage, and finally, a section discussing the game's difficulty. Visually, the page is filled with game screenshots showing key enemies like the Hanged Man, Hermit, and Magician bosses, alongside general zombie encounters and in-game environments, to give you a flavor of what to expect in each section. This page introduces Thomas Rogan, a special operative working for a government agency. He's described as tackling dangerous missions like rescuing comrades and infiltration. Despite having a passionate side, he's known for his calm and collected demeanor in critical situations, possessing an almost genius-level ability to avoid danger, making him a pro at infiltration and risk avoidance. He's also a researcher at DBR Corp. We learn that Rogan met Sophie at university, and they plan to marry in half a year. He is aware of the incident that is happening, and knows about DBR Corp. and Sophie's involvement. He's also acquainted with Dr. Curien, the mastermind behind this whole ordeal, but initially perceives him as a very gentlemanly person, making it hard for him to believe Curien is responsible for the current events. Rogan himself seems to be questioning Curien's involvement. This page details the profile of Thomas Rogan. He is quite tall, standing at 187 centimeters, with a weight of 84 kilograms. He's described as having blonde hair and striking blue-gray eyes. We learn he's a 32-year-old male, born on February 9, 1966, and he hails from the USA. His affiliation is with AMS, and his code name is Eager Eagle. This page showcases another character profile, this time detailing a male figure who appears to be part of the same universe as Thomas Rogan from the previous page. This individual is described as being 183 centimeters tall and weighing 77 kilograms. He has black hair and brown eyes. His gender is listed as male, and like the previous profile, some details are missing, as age, birth date, and country of origin are marked with question marks. However, we do know his affiliation is AMS, just like Rogan, and his codename is Silver Fang. The page features an action shot of the character wielding a gun, further reinforcing the action-oriented nature hinted at by the previous profile. This page introduces another character, designated as G, or while his age is uncertain, it's estimated to be between 35 and 40. His appearance suggests he might be of Eastern descent, possibly Russian. He's noted as a capable partner for Thomas Rogan, but is also a man of mystery, keeping his personal background private. Ig is described as highly skilled in assessing situations and making calm decisions, always choosing the best course of action. He is also a linguistic expert, fluent in over 20 languages, in addition to major foreign languages. He maintains constant self-discipline and possesses the ability for self-reflection. It's mentioned he was involved in monitoring Drive, Curien's actions, and reported suspicious activities to government special agencies. He is characterized as someone who is not swayed by emotions, focused on achieving his objectives, and believes that any means are justifiable to reach his goals, depicted as a very digital and calculating individual. This page introduces Sophie Richards. She is described as an excellent researcher working at DBR Corp., primarily engaged in bioactor research, and is also the fiancée of Thomas Rogan, the main character. She is portrayed as an intelligent and beautiful woman who initially seems approachable, but is actually very easygoing and energetic. It mentions she, like other researchers at the same institute, has been captured by Dr. Curien. Below the image, in her profile, it lists her height as 172 centimeters, weight as unknown with a question mark, hair color as blonde, eye color as green-gray, gender as female, age as 29, birthday as July 21, 1968, birthplace as USA, and affiliation as DBR Corp. The next page introduces Drive Curien, a striking figure with subtly white hair. He is presented as a profile and description. His profile details include his height as 185 centimeters, weight as 85 kilograms, hair color as blonde and gray, and gender as male. He is 48 years old, born on June 11, 1947 in the USA. His affiliation is noted as former director of DBR Corp. The text below the title describes him as an individual whose faintly white hair leaves an impression. It mentions he worked at DBR Corp as a research director and research leader. He is described as a bioreactor authority known in academic circles. Before his transformation, he was a leader with impeccable execution. It also notes that for fellow researchers like Sophie Richards, he was a respected senior figure. The page mentions he comes from a prestigious family and lived in a Western-style house built in the mid-century, with his son. The reason for his sudden change is stated as unknown. The document presents early character and weapon designs for House of the Dead. Tom Rogan wields the AMS Eater, a powerful, customized handgun with limited capacity. G carries a standard handgun, similar to Rogan's. Dr. A, likely Drive Curien, is depicted with sunglasses and a cane. Mr. Happy uses a roll of string as a weapon. Carol is armed with a silver handgun and silver chip bullets, designed for zombie destruction. She serves as the prototype for Sophie Richards. Playboy carries a comb, labeled Playboy. These characters, Drive A, Mr. Happy, Carol, and Playboy, were considered but ultimately excluded as playable characters, despite their potential. The document establishes connections between Drive A/Curien and Carol, Sophie. This page is focused on the basic system of the game and features a gritty, action-packed image of a character aiming a gun, perhaps in a tense moment from the game, and the tagline reads, "You must stop Curien, or else something terrible will happen," emphasizing the urgent mission to stop the character Curien, possibly linking to Dr. Curien, mentioned on the previous page as a potential playable character, but ultimately excluded, now positioned as the antagonist. The Japanese text seems to be detailing core game mechanics, mentioning a thrilling story and unique elements for the Saturn version, along with a deep analysis of the game system for The House of the Dead. This page illustrates the game flow for the arcade mode of The House of the Dead. It begins with game settings where players can adjust options. From there, the flow moves to Title Screen 1 and then Opening Cinematic, followed by a game demo showcasing gameplay. Next, it shows Title Screen 2 and then a Operation Explanation demo, which would guide players on how to play. Gameplay itself is represented by Game Start and then stages 1 through 4. The chart indicates a pause option available during gameplay. If the player loses all lives, life 0, they reach a continue screen. Players can choose to continue or not using credits, leading either back to gameplay or to game over. If players complete the game, they reach the ending. If a player achieves a high score that ranks, they can proceed to name entry before returning to the title screen. There is also a note on soft reset, using a +B+C and start buttons. Overall, the page provides a clear, visual guide to the arcade mode's progression. The House of the Dead game screen provides vital information for survival. It displays remaining lives, ending in death at 0, ammo, and credits. The screen's elements are ammo, weapon display, shows ammo for player 1, different starting amounts in arcade Saturn. Life display, shows player 1's lives, adjustable in options. Aiming reticle, red for player 1, blue for player 2, can be hidden with light guns or changed in options. Reload indicator, appears when ammo is depleted. Reload by shooting off screen or pressing a button. Credit display, decreases with continues, leading to a game over at 0. Player 2 displays, ammo and life mirroring player 1. Boss life gauge, shows the boss's remaining health. Damage indicators, show damage received by players. Left for player 1, right for player 2, center for single player. How to play for House of the Dead outlines the core gameplay. Survive by defeating enemies and rescuing captured researchers. The primary goal is kill before being killed. The gameplay loop involves 5 key points: defeating attacking enemies through aiming and shooting, managing your life by avoiding enemy attacks, and rescuing researchers to restore health. Reloading is crucial for continued shooting, but leaves you vulnerable. Rescuing researchers also grants a life bonus at the stage's end. The game features route branching, altering your path based on actions like saving researchers. Ultimately, each route leads to a stage boss. An operation demo provides a tutorial after the opening, illustrating controls through screenshots. This page is all about controller options for playing House of the Dead, explaining how different controllers can change your experience. It points out that while the Virtua Gun is the best way to enjoy the game, you can also play with a regular controller. The page then details using a standard controller, specifically mentioning a Sega controller. It explains the default button layout is A for shoot, C for reload, and using B button with the D-P-A-D for faster movement while aiming. It notes reloading with C button is good, but quick aiming is harder. Moving on to the Virtua Gun, it highlights this as the best way to get the true arcade feel of a gun shooting game. It emphasizes the fast and accurate aiming you get with the gun. Reloading is done by aiming away from the screen, just like in the arcade, which adds to the immersion. It does mention this method might be less effective in boss battles, where rapid fire is needed. Finally, the page covers using a joystick, like the Virtua Stick. It says the button layout is similar to the controller, but the joystick allows for rapid-fire shooting, almost like a machine gun, due to easier button mashing for both shooting and reloading. However, it acknowledges aiming can be more difficult compared to the Virtua Gun. Ultimately, the page suggests experimenting with different controllers to see what works best for each player. This version of House of the Dead features several game modes. Arcade mode recreates the original arcade experience, allowing 2 players, Rogan and G, to play through 4 stages with adjustable difficulty, lives, and continues. Saturn mode offers a fresh experience with 6 characters, including Sophie and a researcher, each with unique stats affecting gameplay. Players select a character with varying hit points, chamber size, bullet damage, reload time, and hit size. Boss mode is a time attack, where players fight bosses from all stages, with no continues and rankings. Finally, the options section provides extensive customization, including difficulty settings, lives, credits, controller configurations, aiming adjustments, graphics, and sound options, along with global rankings for each mode. This page is about the route branching system in The House of the Dead, highlighting it as a major feature of the game. It explains that the game's story branches and changes based on the player's actions, influencing the enemies encountered, their attack patterns, the number of researchers, and the overall difficulty. The page details how the game offers various routes, allowing players to find paths that suit their playstyle, whether they prefer easier routes, routes with more health recovery, or routes with fewer enemies. It presents 2 scenarios focusing on a researcher in Stage 1. If the player successfully saves the researcher from zombies, the researcher will help restore their health, and the route will proceed across a bridge towards the front of the mansion. However, if the player fails to save the researcher in time, the researcher will be thrown down, forcing the player to take an alternate route down into the sewers. The page also mentions other branching points, such as saving researchers early in the game, which can subtly change the path, and a choice presented by 2 Saurus inside the mansion that will determine the route taken. Finally, it mentions that even upon game over, the game displays a map showing the route the player took, including locations such as storage, billiard rooms, watermill, water tower, underground waterway, and the entrance hall. This feature helps players understand the path they navigated through the game. This page is about playing House of the Dead with 2 players. You can work together to beat the game or compete for high scores, making it a fun, cooperative experience. To play with 2 people, you need 2 controllers. When you play 2-player mode, the number of enemies you face will increase, and you will share credits. Player 1 is assigned the right half of the screen, and player 2 takes the left. In the arcade version, player 1 automatically plays as Logan, and player 2 is Dag. However, on the Saturn console version, you can choose your preferred characters. It also mentions that when playing with 2 people, some enemies appear twice as often. Next, the page details items you can find in the game. There are 3 types of items: life recovery items, golden frogs for high points, and coins. You find these by smashing things like barrels and crates. Once an item appears, you need to hit it again to collect it. Life recovery items restore 1 life, and if you are at full health, they give you 300 points instead. Golden frogs are worth a hefty 1,000 points. Coins are worth 200 points each, and are good for boosting your score. It also notes that item locations are usually fixed, so it's worth remembering where they appear. In House of the Dead, rescuing captured researchers is crucial. Dr. Curien has imprisoned them, and players must save them from attacking monsters. Players must swiftly eliminate threats while avoiding friendly fire, as hitting a researcher costs a life. Various scenarios include researchers ambushed from behind, hiding behind objects, or trapped in cages. Players must act quickly and precisely. The game rewards successful rescues. At the end of each stage, a bonus life is awarded based on the number of researchers saved. 0 to 3 rescued yields no extra life. 4 to 5 earns 1 extra life, and 6 to 7 grants 2 extra lives. Accurate shooting and quick reflexes are key to maximizing life recovery and progressing. This page focuses on the enemy characters, the monsters created by Dr. Curien. It explains how these creatures attack and their weaknesses, key for survival in House of the Dead. Monsters have unique attack patterns that dictate how you should approach them, influencing your target priorities. The page breaks down monster attacks into close and long-range types. Close-range attacks include body slams and biting, while long-range attacks involve throwing weapons like knives and axes or projectiles. A crucial tip revealed is that for most enemies, their head is the primary weak point. Hitting the head deals massive damage, specifically 100 points, or 80 for Kenfis enemies. Interestingly, even common monsters have damage areas across their entire body, from head to toe. The page highlights special enemy types, such as one zombie with a metal brace on its left arm which negates damage, and another wielding a weapon in its right hand, where neither the arm nor weapon are vulnerable. Boss monsters have clearly indicated weak points that are revealed before the fight starts, and attacking anywhere else will only do normal damage. Finally, even if you shoot off a monster's head, it can still be alive if it has remaining health, so be sure to finish them off. This page details the scoring system and the different endings in the House of the Dead. It explains that your score is shown at the end of each stage, and the table on the right lists how points are awarded or deducted for various actions, such as defeating regular monsters, getting headshots, taking damage, rescuing or harming researchers, collecting items, and defeating bosses at each stage. It also mentions that using continues adds a point to your score, and hitting boss heads in stages 2 and 3 grants bonus points. Moving on to the endings, the page reveals there are actually 3 endings after the staff roll: a normal ending, a good ending, and a bad ending. The normal ending is simply reaching the end of the game. To get the good ending, you need a score of 62,000 points or more after clearing the game. The bad ending is triggered if the last digit of your continue count is a 0. In 2-player mode, the good ending is achieved if at least one player scores over 62,000 points, and the bad ending occurs if the sum of both players' continue counts ends in 0. If both conditions for good and bad endings are met, the good ending takes priority. The bad ending is described as a sad outcome, where Sophie becomes a zombie, while the good ending is a happy one, where Sophie is alive. This page is about basic survival techniques in the game. It emphasizes the importance of memorizing enemy appearance patterns, stating that knowing when and where enemies appear is crucial for success in gun shooting games, making up half the strategy. It's advised to memorize key points to react quickly. The page then moves on to prioritizing targets, recommending to defeat enemies that attack first. When multiple enemies appear, the priority should be: first, enemies that are close; second, flying enemies; and third, enemies carrying barrels or drums, as these are dangerous. Examples are given for Stage 1 and Stage 2 enemy scenarios, advising to target enemies in a specific order. Finally, the page highlights the importance of targeting monster heads. Zombie monsters are weak in the head, so headshots deal significant damage and allow for faster kills. It also warns that even if zombies lose their head or upper body, some may still attack, so players should remain cautious. This guide provides essential gameplay advice for the House of the Dead. Frequent reloading is crucial, even during lulls and scene transitions. Life recovery is obtained through item boxes, rescued researchers, and stage bonuses. Prioritize life recovery when below 4 lives, especially rescuing researchers. Route selection is key, with branching paths influenced by researcher locations, item availability, and enemy frequency. If a route proves difficult, consider alternatives. For struggling players, the guide suggests lowering difficulty, increasing lives/credits, or utilizing a continuous fire joystick with button-mapped reload and shoot functions for rapid firing. This page showcases a dramatic scene, likely from the game House of the Dead. We can see two sharp-suited men brandishing handguns and firing, suggesting they are in the heat of action against a zombie threat. In the foreground, a grotesque and decaying zombie face dominates the view, its eyes glowing ominously, creating a clear sense of danger. Adding to the tension, there are also bat-like creatures swooping around the scene, implying a fast-paced and potentially chaotic encounter. The image captures the intense, horror-action atmosphere of House of the Dead games. This page from the guide focuses on tactics. We see a large, grotesque, purple zombie-like enemy being covered in green goo, seemingly taking damage. The text box, titled Stage Strategy, gives hints on how to survive this House of the Dead encounter. It mentions that to survive in this narrow room, you'll need accurate shooting skills and the ability to remember where zombies appear. The text emphasizes that these 2 points are absolutely essential, and those lacking these skills will simply become zombie food. This page highlights the importance of precision and memory in navigating the game's stages and defeating enemies like this large, hulking creature. This page showcases screenshots from the game's initial stage, which is described as the beginning of the tragedy, starting from the mansion entrance. It highlights Stage 1 as depicting the tragic reunion with Sophie, which is a key moment. The text also emphasizes that this stage is designed with numerous branching routes, making it a deeply layered area that's impossible to fully grasp in just 1 or 2 playthroughs. This suggests a stage with high replayability and hidden pathways. The imagery supports this with views of detailed, atmospheric mansion interiors and stairways. This page is a game map for Stage 1. It visually represents the branching paths that were mentioned on the previous page, highlighting the stage's layered design. Starting from the entrance, the map guides players through locations like the waterway, underground waterway, courtyard, the prison room, the billiard room, and the barrel room, before finally reaching the boss area. Red lines trace the different routes, and text boxes explain the choices that determine the player's path. For instance, at certain points, defeating specific enemies like or choosing to rescue researchers will lead to different areas, showcasing the replayability of the stage. Locations are marked with letters A to E, and their names are provided in Japanese. This guide provides strategies for Stage 1, focusing on areas 1A, entrance courtyard, and 1B, courtyard. In 1A, the primary goal is to rescue captured researchers. Players encounter zombies like Nail and Commander, and are advised to prioritize headshots. One researcher is fatally injured and cannot be saved. A key section involves researchers attacked from both sides, with priority given to eliminating zombies on the left to protect the vulnerable. Area 1B presents a branching path if the left researcher in 1A is lost. Players face fast-moving Sam and Nail zombies, emphasizing headshots. Sam appears suddenly from the left, requiring pre-aiming. The guide suggests eliminating Sam first, then the approaching Nail. The guide concludes by linking the player's success in 1A to the progression in Stage 1, 1C if the left researcher was saved, or returning to 1B if not. This page continues the Stage 1 guide, now covering areas 1C through 1F, specifically before Fountain Waterway. In Stage 1C, you'll encounter enemies called Sam, appearing from both the left and right sides of the screen. The guide advises focusing your aim towards the center to deal with them efficiently, and aiming for headshots remains crucial. Moving to areas 1D, 1E, and 1F, after passing a stone wall, you'll face 2 Kenfis zombies. The strategy here is to prioritize the Kenfis on the right first, because they are faster. Then, be prepared for more Kenfis that swoop down from above to attack from below the screen. It's recommended to pre-aim at the lower part of the screen to quickly eliminate them as they appear. In this section you encounter Sophie, a researcher and Logan's lover, collapsed in front of a fountain. You attempt to rescue her, but she suddenly vanishes in a flash. Following this, you witness zombies and hanged men dragging Sophie back inside a building. Next, Cyril zombies emerge in front of the fountain. The Cyril on the right will attack you immediately. while the one on the left will wait until the right one is defeated before engaging. Finally, a decayed zombie named Ebitan bursts out from the fountain. The guide suggests taking advantage of the short window when it appears from the fountain to quickly shoot it down before it fully emerges. Knowing the timing of its appearance is key to defeating it. This page continues the Stage 1 walkthrough of House of the Dead, now focusing on areas 1E and 1F, specifically called the Entrance Hall. Section 1 describes rescuing the researcher. If successful, you receive thanks and a life recovery. Section 2 talks about encountering molar zombies that gather around corpses and then attack by jumping. The advice is to defeat them quickly while they are on the ground, as they are easier to handle then. Section 3 describes serial zombies in a waterway who throw spears. These enemies are small and hard to hit, and they throw spears twice in a row, so you need to make sure to shoot them down properly. Section 4 introduces pile zombies, jumping from the waterway onto a bridge. While slow, they come in numbers and can be overwhelming, so the advice is to avoid taking damage. Section 5 deals with another serial zombie in front of the entrance door. The camera zooms in, and the guide suggests targeting the head in this zoomed-in view for an easier kill. Section 6 indicates breaking down a firmly closed door to enter the Curien Mansion, hinting at what awaits inside. Finally, at the top right, there's a flowchart indicating the level progression for Stage 1F, which depends on whether you successfully rescued the researcher or not. If rescued, you go to 1F, page 033, and if not, you proceed to 1E, page 032. Stage 1F, the waterway, continues from the previous area with branching paths 1U and 1V based on prior choices. If the researcher wasn't rescued, the route changes. The waterway features new enemy types. SAM zombies appear suddenly and require headshots. Kenfist zombies are fast and need anticipating. Serial zombies throw spears from above and require headshots despite being small targets. Useful elements include drum cans for life recovery. In the entrance hall, 2 Saruzu zombies are encountered. Defeating the left one leads to Route 1 gram, and the right one to 1s. This page continues the gameplay guide for the waterway stage. It warns about suddenly appearing bueru in large groups, which are like snake zombies, and can quickly damage you if they get close. Moving deeper into the waterway tunnel, you'll encounter Devilon zombies, but they are not too numerous, so don't be intimidated. Further in the tunnel, Kajio bats will block your path. The guide recommends aiming for their heads to quickly eliminate them. In another section of the waterway, serial zombies will throw spears from across the water. It's mentioned that drum cans in this area contain coins and can be broken. Be aware of Epitan zombies that emerge from the waterway itself. They are quick and jumpy, but predictable in their appearance spots, making them easy to defeat once you know where they are. Flying Devilon enemies are also highlighted. They are fast but manageable if you react quickly. Just be careful not to carelessly take damage. When facing both Kajio and Bourbon zombies in the tunnel, the Bourbon type will appear suddenly from behind objects, so prioritize taking them out first. Finally, at a junction you'll find a researcher being attacked by a serial zombie. Saving the researcher will lead you to Route 1V on page 40. While failing to save them, will send you to Route 1U on page 38. Stage 1 gram, central basement, begins with nail and SAM zombies. Prioritize the right nail zombie, then the same zombies from left to right. Next, deal with a Saruzo zombie attacking a researcher, focusing on the right side. A lone Cilial zombie appears easily defeated. Quickly take down 2 Saruzo zombies emerging from the right windows to prevent their advance. Simon, or 2 in 2-player mode, appears. Defeat him for Route 1H, or fall into a hole for Route 1K. Stage 1's Stairs 2nd floor basement tasks you with rescuing researchers. Defeat the initial right side Saruzo zombie. Eliminate Cilial zombies on the stairs quickly to avoid spear attacks. Then, face groups of molar zombies. Kill them before they get near. Finally, defeat the blinding SAM zombies to regain vision and target the researcher's head. Boxes in the back contain coins. Stage 1T, 2nd floor corridor, features Saruzo zombies, requiring quick attacks to avoid damage, especially when they appear in pairs. Defend against them by staying at the back and shooting rapidly. SAM and nail zombies pose little threat. Hidden golden frogs offer bonus points. The stage culminates in a Simon boss fight. Headshots are key to prevent being thrown to a lower level. Defeating Simon leads to Route 1Q, while falling in a hole leads to Route 1W. Stage 1Q, Billiard Room, starts with a researcher ambush behind the table. Nail zombies emerge from the shadows, followed by pairs of Saruzo zombies. Sam zombies appear from the right and are easily defeated. A hidden Devilon blends into the background. Breaking shelves triggers another Simon boss fight, where the right Simon should be taken down first. A locked door hints at further secrets. Stage 1 offers 3 routes. 1K, Underground Path. Beware of fast bourbon zombies and Kageo zombies, focusing on headshots. 1W, Courtyard B. If you fell into the billiard room, prioritize Sam zombies, then nail zombies near the fence. Destroy Simon's thrown drum cans before engaging him. 1H, Prison Room. Deal with fast, unnamed zombies, followed by weaker ones. Shoot down Ebiton enemies falling from the ceiling. Defeat the Samson enemy by targeting its body and head. Quickly hit the switches to open the prison cell and save the researcher for a life recovery. Stage 1 of the Underground Path continues with instructions for navigating 1U to 1L and 1L to 1 meter. 1U to 1L involves defeating numerous zombies, including bourbon and Ebitan types, and a Kageo zombie that attacks suddenly. 1L to 1 meter presents a name zombie that spits damaging fluids, and several wall-mounted name zombies. A Kageo zombie appears in the left passage, but the primary goal is to retrieve a life recovery item from a wooden box behind it. Avoid the Ebitan's acid pool near the ladder, and prioritize rescuing researchers after descending. In 2-player mode, carefully drop Cyril and the other researcher one by one to avoid them being attacked. Progress is only possible by climbing the ladder to the courtyard. Stage 1 MC and 1 Vaughn both take place in Courtyard B. 1 MC features a branching path based on whether rubble is destroyed. Players face Nail and Sam enemies, then Simon. On the second floor, Cyril throws spears, followed by another Cyril requiring headshots. Kenfis appears. Destroying the rubble alters the route. Otherwise, defeat Kenfis. Stage 1 is zombie heavy. Nail and Sam are frequent. Before a left turn, Cyril appears. After defeating Sam and Nail, Samson appears from the rooftop. A researcher may fall from the second floor, requiring a headshot. Finally, multiple Kenfis appear in a wide field, prompting players to aim at the lower center. Stage 1 begins in Courtyard B and proceeds through the stairs to the second floor corridor, 1P1Q, and underground passage to the water wheel and cage rooms, 1V1Y. Expect Sam zombies in the corridor, requiring headshots, and Saruzu zombies before the billiard room. In the underground passage, rescue a researcher who offers escape advice. Kageo, bourbon, and fast-moving Ebita zombies are present. Focus on headshots and avoid wooden boxes. Rogan and Debyron zombies appear before a ladder. Defeat Samson, aiming at his right arm, and retrieve coins from the area. In the cage room, hit the switch, avoid Ebita hanging from the ceiling, and defeat Samson again, prioritizing the chest for score. This page continues the stage guide, now covering Stage 11, focusing on the courtyard, basement, and barrel room area. It highlights encounters with various zombies. Initially, Saruzu and Nail zombies are encountered, with a tip to find hidden coins in barrels after defeating Nail zombies. The guide warns about fast Simon attacks from both sides, advising to aim for the head. Moral enemies appear on bridges, and the strategy is to center the aim and shoot while moving. Cyril attacks from above with arrows, suggesting dodging and targeting his head. Pule enemies emerge from a water passage in 2 waves, with a slight pause in between. Samson with a chainsaw is introduced, with his head as the weak point, and players should ignore other zombies to focus on him. Re-entering the mansion through a window, more zombies appear, along with potential coins in boxes and barrels. Look out for yellow frogs. Saruzu also appear from windows, with coins in a left barrel. In the barrel room, a researcher is trapped, with zombies emerging from behind pillars, and players should aim slightly below center to hit them. Finally, 2 Simons throwing barrels from above appear, and the guide advises prioritizing the barrels, then Simon's head, emphasizing time is limited for scoring points. This page continues the guide for Stage 1, now focusing on the barrel room area, and provides strategies for dealing with various enemies. It warns about Cyril who swings an axe and appears suddenly when turning left at a junction, suggesting memorizing his timing to avoid damage. The guide also highlights Saruzu enemies appearing in narrow passages, recommending the use of triangle jumps and swift attacks. In corridors, Sam zombies are present, advising players to aim for their heads from a distance. Nail zombies are mentioned approaching from the left corridor, suggesting a calm approach to defeat them by aiming left and right. Defeating nail zombies triggers the appearance of Sam zombies in close combat, again emphasizing headshots for points. Further ahead on the stairs, Cyril reappears, now throwing arrows from above, instructing players to accurately shoot them down and target his head. Simon carrying drum barrels is introduced on the stairs, advising to destroy the barrel first to nullify his attacks, then target Simon's head. Finally, Samson, wielding a chainsaw, appears right in front of the barrel room, warning players to dodge the chainsaw and focus attacks. The guide continues through Stage 1, focusing on the boss area. Entering the barrel room, ignore the empty barrels. Encounter 2 zombies attacking a researcher. Headshots are recommended. Another researcher is near a barrel containing a life recovery item. Watch out for Samson, appearing from a pillar. Shoot the barrel before he emerges for coins. Destroy Simon's barrels quickly before attacking them. Headshot zombies emerging from the passage. To enter the barrel room, break a window, and prepare for Saruzu enemies. The corridor to the boss features empty decorative barrels, a deep shaft, and Sophie's voice urging haste. Defeating the final zombie triggers the Stage 1 boss fight. Reload and prepare for sustained combat. The next page details the Stage 1 boss called Chariot, who is designated as Type 27. It lists some basic data for this enemy, stating their health points as 480. When you hit Chariot with a bullet, it deals 40 damage, regardless of whether you are playing in 1-player or 2-player mode. Importantly, the weak point for Chariot is highlighted as the wound on their chest, which is also clearly visible in the image of the boss character itself, showing a glowing red area on their chest armor. To defeat the Chariot boss, target the exposed green flesh on its armor, revealed by broken plating. 7 shots to these weak points destroy the armor. Accurate shooting and rapid attacks are key. At the start, precise aiming is crucial due to close proximity. Staying still while aiming improves accuracy. Chariot has 3 attack phases. Attack 1, when HP is below 320, involves a slow approach and weapon swing. Attack 2, below 200 horsepower, adds a swing during the approach. Attack 3 is a destructive charge after armor destruction. The head deals the most damage, 45 points, followed by the waist, 31.5, and chest, 27. Once bone is exposed after armor removal, further shots to that location are ineffective. Switch targets. This page showcases the second chapter of what looks like Revenge, and is clearly from the House of the Dead series based on the visuals. The text talks about Logan, who, with revenge for Dr. Curien in his heart, is moving deeper into a mansion. Hideous zombies are blocking his path. The description mentions a cunning monster protecting the deepest part of the mansion, and Logan's deadly battle to settle a personal grudge begins. The screenshots display in-game environments, showing a bedroom with a blood-stained bed, a large pool area, and a courtyard view, all typical of the eerie atmosphere of the House of the Dead games. This page unfolds the map for Stage 2, guiding players through the second floor, 2F, and up to the rooftop, which is labeled as 3F. The stage starts at Point Start, and progresses through areas like a hall, kitchen, and meeting room on the second floor. The map then leads upwards to the third floor, or rooftop, passing through locations such as a bedroom, research room, art room, and finally, the boss area. Boss. There are key points marked A, B, and C, each with instructions. At point A, it mentions hitting floorboards to descend, leading downwards to point A. Otherwise, you proceed straight ahead. Point B involves hitting a panel and following the arrow downwards, taking you to point B. Otherwise, you go straight. Point C, on the second floor, relates to a vent where you are attacked. You can either drop down below to point C by going into the vent, or defeat the vent enemy and proceed straight ahead. Another point C on the second floor in the art room also mentions hitting a panel and following arrows downwards, leading to point C, or going straight ahead otherwise. These instructions provide gameplay hints on navigating the stage. This page continues the walkthrough for Stage 2, this time covering 3 distinct sections: the Annex Hall, the Corridor, and the Art Museum, through to another corridor. In the Annex Hall, the guide highlights encounters with a drum-carrying enemy, advising players to destroy the drum before attacking the enemy itself. Next, it mentions standard zombies and then a serial enemy, emphasizing headshots for effective damage. A key branching point is indicated by floorboards, where hitting them leads to Route 2C, while going straight takes you to Route 2B. Moving into the corridor, the guide points out a view down below revealing many zombies. It then warns of ruby enemies attacking from above and introduces a panel with an arrow. Hitting this panel changes the arrow and directs you to Route 2E, while ignoring it sends you to Route 2D. Finally, in the Art Museum and subsequent corridor section, the guide describes Debiron enemies dropping from above, advising players to shoot them down methodically. Ebita enemies also emerge from paintings, some of which might contain coins. Be aware that after the initial Ebita attack, more will appear from the ceiling. Lastly, a Samson enemy is lurking in the shadows, ready to ambush, requiring a direct approach and attack. This guide covers Stage 2's Hall, locations 2F2H. You'll face various enemy combinations: Drake, Debiron, Cyril, spear-throwing zombies, Samson/Ventori, and Drake Rubin. Prioritize destroying Ventori's barrel attacks. Avoid close combat to dodge attacks, especially from the Drake. Collect coins from the Debiron. After the Art Museum, rescue a researcher from attacking zombies and find a life up in a box. 2 same enemies follow. Reload immediately after defeating them. Your path depends on how you handle Ventori. Hitting him leads to Route 2 Grams. Defeating him leads to Route 2 Fs. Ventori's rush attack can knock you to a lower level if you get hit. This guide section covers the bedroom area, locations 2H2J. Enemies include Mora, Samson, Simon, Reuben, and Cyril. Defeat Mora enemies quickly, focusing shots. Destroying furniture reveals researchers and triggers enemy appearances. Samson is easily defeated at a distance. Aim for the head. Break a window for a ruby. Check the background for coins and eliminate nearby zombies. An injured researcher may need rescue from Samson. A Reuben appears from the floor. Shoot its head. Be ready to avoid damage from a Cyril when opening a door. Finally, a floor panel alters the route. Shoot it once to change direction, but avoid rapid firing. This page details strategies for Stage 2L and Stage 2J, which are both in the research lab area. For Stage 21 leading to 2Ls, it mentions panels with arrows, and if you go on the panel with the arrow, it will take you to the next section. It advises this route is faster for time. When you reach Section 2, it mentions zombies appear after crossing the bridge, moving like monkeys, and they are very agile, so be cautious. Stage 2J, leading to 2L, is also in the research lab. In Section 1, if you don't go over the bridge route, there will be many zombies. Before Logan, Samson will appear. Section 2 mentions Simon will appear again from the right, and he is quite close, so reloading should be done beforehand to avoid damage. Section 3 describes Cyril appearing straight ahead. It advises to defeat him quickly with rapid fire before he attacks. Reload during this time. The page highlights attacks from above head and warns about Cyril attacking immediately after going up the stairs, so be aware to react quickly to avoid damage. Finally, it discusses defeating the drum can and then the main body, and mentions that a Ventri enemy is standing holding a drum can. Before the drum can is thrown, shoot it multiple times to destroy it, then attack the Ventri that charges in. Stage 2 progresses from the research lab to the waterway stairs and courtyard. In waterway stairs, players must swiftly defeat fast-moving Ebitan enemies in a narrow passage. Subsequent encounters involve waves of Ebitans requiring rapid fire, and strategic Ventri battles where drum cans must be destroyed first. A Lupin enemy warrants continuous firing at the back of the screen, and Samson enemies require headshots. The courtyard involves activating a bridge that functions as an elevator. Here, players face waves of zombies and need to reload before descending into a lower area to efficiently handle the appearing same enemies. The next page details Stage 2K to 2 grams, which is the kitchen and dining hall area. It starts by warning about nail enemies suddenly appearing from the kitchen door, recommending headshots. Then, it mentions a second nail enemy appearing soon after, advising players to be mindful of their ammo as they can easily take damage here. Next, the page describes how the wall breaks to introduce Gilmore and venturing enemies, highlighting their deceptively fast attack speed, so don't underestimate them. Upon entering the dining hall, Sam enemies approach quickly, emphasizing memorizing their position and being prepared to take damage. Further in, 2 Cyril enemies appear across a table, throwing knives. The advice is to quickly take out one of them for safety. Then, a Shadow Samson enemy attacks from behind a table. Players should aim to the right and be ready to attack as soon as it appears. The guide then talks about Drake enemies appearing from the ceiling in a combo, recommending players to attack while they're hanging to inflict significant damage. Finally, as you exit the dining hall, Ebitan enemies attack, noting it's hard to react in time, so memorize their spawn location and pre-aim. There's also a warning about a Samson enemy ambushing from the right at a tin junction, appearing suddenly, so players should memorize this location too. Stage 2 Grams in the hall area features several enemy encounters. Initially, defeat airborne Reuben enemies upon entering the dining hall. Next, eliminate the left and right zombies before the Gilmore in the center. Be prepared for Ebitan enemies dropping from above. Prioritize the closest ones. Devilron enemies will appear in the hallway, but are not a major threat. Anticipate a nail enemy around corners and prepare to aim left. Before entering the hall, face a Cyril enemy, aiming from right to left for easier headshots. Samson and nail enemies are easily defeated with one shot. Destroy the floating zombies for points and search the eaves for hidden coins. Finally, when a door opens, you'll see Simon. Shoot the head for higher rewards, or the body to regain health. More falling Reuben enemies will appear, giving you time to shoot them down. Stage 2 Libel of the laboratory culminates in a boss fight. Upon entering, anticipate Simon's appearance. In Area 21, face Samson, dodging its chainsaw. Section 3 features dangerous Ebitan. Avoid getting underneath them. Remember enemy positions for quick reactions. Section 5 introduces Cyril enemies, small and spear throwing. Aim center screen for hits. Prioritize breaking a barrel if it hides a golden frog. In Section 7, Reuben and Drake enemies emerge from liquid. Memorize their spawn points. In Section 8, aim center screen to hit the zombie, ignoring the fence. Section 9 provides a breather fighting Samson. Finally, in Section 10, pre-aim left or center at Reuben enemies guarding researchers. This page is dedicated to the Stage 2 boss, Hanged Man, designated as Type 041. It appears to be a basic datasheet outlining the boss's stats. Hanged Man has a health of 800. When shot, the damage dealt to it differs slightly between 1 and 2 player modes, with 10 damage in single player and 8 damage in 2 player. Interestingly, its weak point is described as its entire body except for the wings, which is unusual. The next page continues with information about the Hanged Man boss, focusing on strategies to defeat it. It highlights that while its wings are not weak points, the rest of its body is. For players looking to maximize their score, aiming for the head is advised as it grants bonus points per hit. The page details 3 attack patterns. Attack 1 involves summoning bats, which should be shot down. Attack 2 is described as the most menacing, where the Hanged Man moves left and right before dashing in, and players are advised to predict its movements and shoot. Attack 3 shows the boss dive-bombing from above and then rushing upwards, suggesting a straightforward, head-on attack. The page also mentions that roof tiles might appear to fall during Attack 3, but this is just visual flair and causes no damage. It's also mentioned that the reason players might take damage from Attack 2's scythe attack is often due to reloading at the wrong time. It recommends reloading immediately after the Hanged Man's scream to be ready, and to focus fire when it gets close. The next page continues the guide, focusing on the 3rd chapter, Truth of the game. The Japanese text explains that Logan and his team have successfully infiltrated the depths of the mansion, and are now navigating a maze-like structure. Despite battling through this complex and dangerous area, they are determinedly chasing after Curien, and have finally caught sight of him. However, the text ends on a cliffhanger, suggesting something unexpected is about to happen. The images on the page seem to visually represent the environments encountered in this chapter, showing industrial-looking areas and a large domed structure, hinting at the labyrinthine nature of the location. This page shows the map for Stage 3. Continuing, The third chapter, Truth. You begin at the start point in the guard room and progress through areas labeled Cage and Factory before reaching the duct room. There are decision points on the map.
One instruction explains that if you rescue a researcher, you will get a card. If you don't, you must go to the duct room to obtain a card. Another point involves hitting a right switch to change the arrow marks and take the right elevator. Otherwise, you take the left elevator. After the duct room, you enter a lava area with two paths: Central Passage and Right Passage. The map shows the Central Passage as the main route if you manage to open the left door. Otherwise, you take the Right Passage. Both paths ultimately lead to the boss area at the top of the map. This map visually represents the maze-like structure mentioned in the previous page, showing a clear path towards the final boss confrontation.
This guide covers the laboratory entrance to elevator section, Area 3A. Players will face initial zombie encounters in a corridor, with strategies advised for Nail and Sam zombie types. Beware of guard rooms with zombies throwing iron balls. Progress requires opening a security-locked door.
Moody zombies, known for projectiles, pose a threat. In guard rooms, deal with nail zombies quickly with headshots, followed by Kagyo zombies, prioritizing the closer one. A security card is essential for advancing. Upon exiting a guard room, face fast-attacking bourbon zombies. Finally, a caged area with zombies demands a strategic attack sequence, starting from the front after the cage opens. This section of the game focuses on navigating a zombie-infested area. Players should be wary of fast-attacking bourbon zombies, especially near the second cage, and moody zombies, which benefit from throwable items and distance. The game highlights the importance of quick reactions, particularly when dealing with armored robot zombies, bourbon zombies that ambush, and tarantulas, which attack rapidly from the ground and ceiling. Players will also encounter a researcher, switches that open cages, and branching paths with limited options. Finally, an elevator room awaits, preceded by a Gilmore enemy and a hidden coin box. Harmless background zombies offer a chance for bonus points. Stage 3B, Waterway, begins with an elevator encounter. Players are advised to use headshots on Kagyo zombies for points, and quickly eliminate a bourbon zombie upon exiting. Laser knives are recommended for bourbon zombie takedowns. Navigating the waterway, Ebipitan zombies appear from pillars and water passages, with more spawning if the player is slow. A hidden coin box is noted. Players should prioritize eliminating robot zombies before Kagyo when encountered in a left passage. Finally, moody zombies, appearing two at a time, pose a significant threat, discouraging the use of throwable items. The level features branching paths at the elevator. Pressing the right switch and taking the right elevator leads to Route 3C. Otherwise, the left elevator is taken. This walkthrough for House of the Dead provides gameplay tips. In the next stage, defeat the easily killed bourbon zombie and ignore the dummy box. Be ready for Kagyo and Venturi zombies. And grab the golden frog. Up the stairs, tarantula zombies will quickly appear. Shoot them rapidly, aiming low. When the shutter opens, use the iron ball to take out Harris first, then focus on Kagyo and Robert. Finally, when rescuing a researcher, target zombie legs and feet to avoid hitting the upper body. The outcome determines your path, 3E or 3D. This walkthrough section of House of the Dead Stage 3 covers the elevator sections, 3C, 3D, 3E. Players should anticipate encounters on elevator rides. The left elevator introduces two Neil zombies at the start. Venturi zombies attack during movement, requiring quick reflexes. After defeating Venturis, Cyril zombies will appear, demanding headshots. The service elevator features researcher zombies that should be engaged from a distance. Upon arrival, two Cyril zombies await immediate elimination. On the second floor, prioritize shooting drum-throwing Venturi zombies. Also, Cyril zombies will throw spears from a distance. Finally, the guide warns of a fleeting tarantula zombie that appears on the stairs. Memorize its spawn points, and prepare to shoot it down when it drops to avoid damage. This walkthrough for House of the Dead Stage 3 details zombie encounters. Players face crane-hanging zombies, attack them during descent, Venturi zombies, destroy their drum cans first, and multiple zombies appearing rapidly. Prioritize close enemies. A golden frog may be in a right-side box. Players must balance efficient zombie takedowns with attempting to hit the box. The guide also covers an elevator to a research facility, advising players to defeat Kagyo, then bourbon zombies, in a winding passage. Venturi zombies reappear. Same strategy as before.
Saving a researcher by shooting zombies' feet is crucial. A coin-filled box is available if time allows. The path diverges based on the researcher's survival, leading to Route 3E or 3D. This page covers Stage 3D, Duct Room, and Stage 3E, Research Room for House of the Dead. In the Duct Room, entering the duct space brings zombies like Gilmore, suggesting players defeat them in close quarters. When trying to exit the duct, Ebitan and other zombies come sliding down at speed from the passage, emphasizing quick and accurate right-o-left shots to counter their momentum. At the duct exit, more zombies are waiting. The advice is to prioritize taking down the central Harris zombie first, then the bourbon zombies on either side. The research room walkthrough mentions that saving the researcher earlier grants a security card to access it. Upon entry, the guide describes an unpleasant-smelling research room, where Moody and other zombie types suddenly appear, cautioning players to proceed carefully. Zombies will also attack from behind pillars, demanding quick and decisive action.
Moody's reappears, destroying central equipment, advising players to aim center screen. Brawler zombies then emerge from the right, vulnerable to the laser knife, requiring accurate shots to avoid damage. Finally, a simple elevator to the upper level introduces the Barney zombie, whose slow movement makes headshots an easy target. This page continues the walkthrough with sections 7, 8, and 9. Section 7 highlights an encounter with two Harris zombies swinging iron balls. The advice is to take them down while they are mid-swing. It also introduces zombies from Stage 1, similar in nature to Sam, and described as weak. Section 8 moves on to Stage 2, featuring Saruzu-like zombies, noting they are fast, agile, and quite strong. Then, it talks about zombies appearing in Stage 3, specifically skinhead zombies. These are described as having white eyes and Terrico lips, but are considered weak enemies. Section 9 discusses a strategy involving left shutters, suggesting players should hit them 3 times to open up a central path. If this isn't done, the guide mentions taking the right shutter route. Finally, it touches on Moody's appearing in Stage 1's basement if you've saved a researcher, describing it as a valuable enemy encounter due to being weak and easy to defeat in one hit, despite its Ebitan-like appearance and similar nature to Sam. This page details the walkthrough for Stage 3, F-Boss Central Passage. It starts with Section 1 showing the initial boss encounter. Here, you face Robert and Burner. The guide advises focusing on Robert first, as defeating him will make Burner appear, whose head should be targeted for defeat. Section 2 depicts a staircase area, possibly after defeating the first part of the boss. Section 3 introduces 3 Ventry enemies, identified as drum-carrying enemies. The strategy here is to destroy their drums first, then aim for their heads. Section 4 features Harris zombies and unnamed zombies in a left and right setup. The guide mentions the Harris zombie is on the right, and attacking the left zombie might result in reduced damage. Section 5 showcases an elevator section with 2 zombies to encounter. Finally, Section 6 talks about a re-elevator section and more zombies. It advises defeating 2 serial zombies on the right, and then focusing on Robert on the left. The guide concludes by noting that the boss is now within sight. This guide details the rite passage of Stage 3 Grams. Section 1 highlights Burner and Ventry enemies, advising headshots due to Burner's slow attacks. Section 2 focuses on the serpent-like Cyril, urging players to destroy the spears it throws. Section 3 describes easy-to-headshot nameless zombies. Section 4 covers close-range Moody enemies, recommending ranged attacks. Section 5 warns about parlor enemy laser knives, suggesting accurate firing. Section 6 details an elevator section, prioritizing the defeat of Harris zombies before they throw iron balls. Finally, Section 7 describes the last enemies before the boss, emphasizing headshots for high scores. This page introduces the Stage 3 boss, type 6803, named Hermit. The image depicts a grotesque creature with multiple green eyes and exposed, bloody flesh. It appears to be the final enemy encountered after navigating the rite passage described in the previous page. The text lists basic data for the Hermit boss, including its health points of 160. It also details the damage dealt during a bullet hit, and specifies the score awarded for defeating it in 1P and 2P play, which is 10 points in both cases. Finally, it highlights the weak point as
the head part. This information suggests that to defeat Hermit, players need to aim for its head, which is a common strategy in the game, and be prepared for a boss with 160 health points. The guide for Stage 3 boss Hermit stresses targeting its head with rapid fire for maximum damage. Avoid close combat due to Hermit's speed and potential for damage. Focus on Hermit's abdomen when exposed. Before engaging, fire a preemptive shot. Sticky projectiles, fired in Pattern 2, should be shot down quickly, focusing on dodging due to unpredictable trajectories. Hermit has 3 attack patterns. Pattern 1, HP greater than 150, involves body shaking and claw attacks. Pattern 2, HP less than 150, features guarding, projectile attacks. Pattern 3, HP less than 45, is a charging claw attack, followed by vulnerability. Keep Hermit centered on the screen for easier aiming, especially at a distance, and finish it off with concentrated fire. This page seems to be introducing the final chapter of The House of the Dead. It mentions Drive Curien and his creation of a person standing above people. However, this creation, referred to as he, doesn't listen to human commands and has become a monster. The text states that this tragic curtain-closing battle is about to begin. The screenshots showcase different in-game environments, including some eerie indoor locations, with what appears to be humanoid figures and ominous lighting. The overall tone suggests the climax of the story, and a final confrontation against a powerful monster created by Dr. Curien. This page presents the stage map for Stage 4 of the game. It clearly marks out the player's route with a red line, starting from the start point and guiding you through encounters labeled Boss Battle 1 and Boss Battle 2. The path continues through the final path, leading to the final boss battle arena, which looks like a large circular structure. The map also indicates the location of the control room. There's a note that mentions a hidden stage will appear if you rescue all the researchers during this stage, adding an extra challenge and reward for dedicated players. This stage appears to be the final push towards the ultimate confrontation. Stage 4 guides players through the control room and boss battles. Initial encounters include robot zombies, headshots critical, followed by Sam and Harris prioritized. Players then enter Drive Curien's research facility inside a mountain. The stage features a control room requiring the defeat of 4 small monsters to advance. Boss battles include a stronger chariot, target the chest, and a less aggressive hanged man, headshots while dodging projectiles. The stage concludes on a moving train car. Access to hidden paths 4B or 4C depends on researcher rescues in stages 1 to 3. Saving all researchers unlocks Route 4B. Failing to save all leads to 4C. Rescues from the Stage 2 boss do not impact this. Reaching 4B offers a hidden room and likely better rewards. Stage 4B, the hidden room, has 2 parts, rewarding players with golden frogs, coins, and first aid kits. The first room offers 2 golden frogs, 2 coins, and 2 first aid kits, while the second provides 1 golden frog, 3 coins, and 2 first aid kits. Prioritize golden frogs for score. Stage 4C, the final passage, leads to the boss. It begins with Ventori enemies, followed by moody zombies in pairs. Then, defeat parlor enemies, Robert zombies, focus on the left one's head. Ventori enemies with drums, break the drums first. And finally, Harris zombies with iron balls, shoot their heads or hands. This page introduces the Magician, who is the Stage 4 boss, Type 0. The basic data for the Magician is shown, revealing his health points are 800. When you hit him with bullets, the damage dealt is 10 points in 1-player mode and 8 points in 2-player mode. The Magician's weak point is stated as being his unarmored areas. This page is dedicated to tackling the Magician boss, who is described as almost perfect in offense and defense, and the biggest obstacle to clearing the game. It mentions his weak points are his left upper arm, right lower chest, left thigh, and right lower leg, but emphasizes that understanding his attack patterns is vital due to his speed and toughness. The guide advises players to prioritize shooting down the multiple fireballs he launches from his arms before they split and become harder to manage. When he moves at high speed, aiming for his right shin is recommended to interrupt his close-range attacks. It also notes that just before his attack 5, there is a good opportunity to inflict damage. Be warned about the Skyfire attack, described as incredibly fast and difficult to avoid. The recommended strategy is to consistently aim for the Magician's feet, Focus on neutralizing his fireballs, and deliver damage on the ground whenever possible. The page also breaks down his attack patterns into 5 stages, triggered by his remaining health. Attacks 1 and 3 involve launching fireballs, while attacks 2 and 4 utilize rapid movement and close-range fireball assaults. Attack 5 is a more significant threat, where he unleashes numerous fireballs into the air that then descend to cause damage. Mastering these attack patterns is key to defeating him. This page appears to introduce the general enemies in the House of the Dead, under the title Monster List. It seems to be setting the scene for the different types of zombies encountered in the game. The text describes these zombies as creatures designed to be superior to humans. They are portrayed as lacking human emotions, and instead driven by primal instincts, particularly territoriality and aggressive behavior. The page emphasizes that these zombies are different from the traditional understanding of zombies, suggesting a unique take on the undead within the game's world. This page showcases 2 types of zombies from the game. The first is called Sam, designated as Type, a 1 with 100 horsepower and appearing in stages 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's described as a very orthodox zombie, found everywhere and driven by the instinct to consume human blood and flesh. His movements are slow, and his primary attack is biting. The text advises to break his head to defeat him. The second zombie is Nail, labeled Type, a 2 with 120 horsepower and appearing in stages 1, 2, and 3. Nail is described as being in better shape than Sam and has been enhanced to be more offensive. He's considered a difficult enemy, and while both arms are intact, he primarily uses throwing attacks. However, if both arms are destroyed, he will resort to biting. The description also mentions his rotting face and the distinctive Zanbara style of his hair, pointing out how zombie-like he looks. It mentions that he mainly uses throwing attacks and that his movements are slightly faster. This page introduces 2 new types of zombies you'll encounter. First up is Cyril, designated as Type, a 3 who's got 160 horsepower and appears in stages 1, 2, and 3. Cyril is described as a spear-wielding zombie, dangerous because he uses spears in both hands to slash at you up close and even throws them from a distance, making him a really tough enemy to deal with, especially when he's throwing spears from afar. The spear attack is really his signature move, and it's pretty strong. Then there's Kagio, a Type B1 zombie with 90 horsepower, appearing in stages 1 and 3. Kagio is known for his slender body and deep-set eye sockets, making him look quite distinctive. He's said to prefer damp areas and is surprisingly resistant to stabbing attacks. Interestingly, they mention Japanese people were used as a model for this zombie type. Kagio is often found in large groups in sewers and is noted for his slimy body. He's a slow mover, so the advice is to aim for the head and take him out quickly. This page showcases 2 more nasty zombies you'll encounter. First up is Bourbon, classified as Type B2, boasting 150 horsepower and lurking in stages 1, 2, and 3. Bourbon is a moss-covered, greenish zombie that loves to jump out from hidden spots. Don't underestimate him, as he's tougher than he looks and can catch you off guard if your reactions are slow, leading to some serious damage. Then we have Ebitan a Type B3 zombie with 140 horsepower, also found in stages 1, 2, and 3. Ebitan is a truly gruesome sight, a rotting, slimy zombie that's pure nightmare fuel. Notably, this one can survive in water and will ambush anyone unlucky enough to pass by. He's quick on his feet, so it's wise to remember where you've seen him. The page even mentions that shooting Ebitan in the head results in an especially horrifying appearance, suggesting it's quite disturbing. There are also screenshots showing these zombies to give you a good look at what you're up against. This page introduces 2 more gruesome zombies. First, we have Ebitan B, classified as Type B4, with 120 horsepower and appearing in stages 1, 2, and 3. This one is described as an evolved form of the Ebitan A we saw earlier, now just an upper body zombie hanging from ceilings after its lower half decayed. It attacks from above and is quite strong. To defeat it, you'll need to memorize its spawn locations and have good shooting skills. It's mentioned they often lurk in narrow passages. Next up is Samson, a Type C1 zombie with a hefty 250 horsepower, found in Stage 2. Samson is a chainsaw-wielding maniac. This zombie will try to slice you up with its chainsaw and is tough to take down. It's said to be quite resistant to attacks, even deflecting chainsaw blows. The advice is to aim for the head to defeat it. Like Ebaton B, Samson is also found in narrow passages, attacking at head height. This page introduces two more formidable enemies. First up is Ventori, classified as a Type C2 zombie with 200 horsepower, appearing in stages 2, 3, and 4. Despite its bulky appearance, Ventori is surprisingly agile and charges directly at you. It's described as looking slow, but is actually quite fast and durable. The guide suggests taking it down quickly as soon as it appears by shooting it. It seems to have a rushing attack that deals damage, and can also fall into pits and holes. There's mention of a drum can throwing type of Ventori, which is also tough. The advice is to destroy the drum cans first. Next we have Burner, a Type C3 zombie with 220 horsepower, found in Stage 3.
Burner is a modified Samson-type zombie that uses a flamethrower. It repeatedly attacks with its flame weapon. Although durable, Burner's attack speed is slow. The guide recommends memorizing its spawn location and defeating it with quick attacks. It's mentioned that because of its large size, it's easy to hit, so aim for the weak points if possible. This page introduces two new enemies, Simon and Gilmore. Simon is a Type D1 zombie with 180 horsepower, appearing in Stage 1 and 2. He's described as a muscular zombie, whose left arm muscle tissue is exposed, but he's still quite powerful. He attacks players with his strong arms, and is thought to be the mansion's owner. The page also shows Simon throwing barrels from an upper floor, and advises players to target the barrels. Next up is Gilmore, a Type D2 zombie with 220 horsepower, appearing in Stage 2 and 3. Gilmore is a zombie that wields a huge hammer. Hammer attacks are his main offense, but they are slow. The guide suggests if he appears alongside other zombies, it's best to take out the smaller zombies first. It also mentions that due to the hammer, Gilmore's speed is slow, so headshots and slow-motion tactics are effective against him. The next page introduces two more enemy characters, Harris and Robert. Harris is a Type D3 zombie with 180 horsepower and appears in Stages 3 and 4. He is described as a powerful zombie who swings around a large iron ball as a weapon. It's mentioned that stopping him is difficult, but destroying the iron ball will render it unusable, at which point Harris will resort to direct attacks. The guide notes that this iron ball attack is powerful and difficult to avoid. It suggests that the best approach is to destroy his right arm before he swings the iron ball. Robert is a Type D4 zombie, also with 180 horsepower, and appearing in Stages 3 and 4. He is described as a modified Simon, heavily armored on his chest and other parts. He can deflect bullets due to his armor, and has high durability. The guide recommends defeating him by targeting and destroying his head with quick shots.
This page introduces two new enemy characters, Ruben and Drake. Ruben is a Type E1 zombie with 130 horsepower and appears in Stage 2. He is described as a zombie wielding iron claws on both hands. He's a nimble enemy, utilizing jumps and rolls to evade and confuse players, and he attacks by slashing with his iron claws. It's also mentioned he often appears in combination with Drake.
Drake is a Type E2 zombie with 90 horsepower, also appearing in Stage 2. He is an agile zombie who attacks with knives. He can throw knives at players, making him dangerous from a distance. He is also noted for his quick movements. Like Ruben, his attack patterns and movements are described as very similar. The text in the top right corner elaborates on Ruben, stating that his claw attacks can catch players off guard, and that he is a formidable opponent due to his agile attacks. This page introduces two more formidable zombie types you'll encounter. First up is Moody, classified as a Type E3 zombie with 90 horsepower, appearing in Stages 3 and 4. Moody is described as a higher-ranking version of the Ruben zombie we saw before, and this one attacks with a unique extendable weapon mounted on its right arm. Be warned, they often appear in pairs, so it's best to focus your fire and take them out one at a time. The good news is that they reliably drop their extendable weapons when defeated, which could be useful for you. Next we have the Paralyzer, a Type E4 zombie, also with 80 horsepower and found in Stages 3 and 4. This enemy is presented as a completed or evolved form of the Drake zombie. Paralyzers wield laser knives and are described as incredibly agile, moving with ninja-like speed. Their laser knife attacks, especially from a distance, are highly dangerous. The text emphasizes their swift movements and laser knife attacks from their legs during whirlwind kicks as their primary weapon, advising players to defeat them quickly. So, like Drake and Ruben,
Speed and agility seem to be the defining traits of these enemies, but with upgraded weaponry and deadlier attacks. Encounter 3 new zombie types in Stage 1. The Kenfis, type F1, 80 horsepower, are dog-like zombies with quick, erratic movements, spawning in blue and tougher red variants. Memorizing their spawn points is key to exploiting their relatively low durability. The Suruzu, type F2, 120 horsepower, are agile Japanese monkey zombies, utilizing unpredictable triangular jumps. Rapid fire and distance are recommended to counter their attacks. Finally, the Girl, type F3, 3 horsepower, is a giant frog zombie, only appearing in aquatic environments. Despite low health, its sudden and powerful leaping attacks can knock you down, requiring players to stay aware of their surroundings.
This page introduces 4 new zombie types encountered in the game. First is the Debiron, a type F4 bat zombie with 5 horsepower, appearing in stages 1, 2, and 4. These are Hangman's minions, created from bats, and are aggressive when they detect sound. While slow, they appear in groups, so be careful. Next is the Morar, a type True 1 snake zombie with 5 horsepower, found in stages 1 and 2. These react to body heat and are very aggressive, jumping at you quickly. They are small and hard to hit, so it's recommended to take them down quickly before they get too close. Then there's the name Keglix, a type Dig 2 slug zombie, also with 5 horsepower and appearing in stage 1. These inhabits underground waterways. While they have many weak points, they release body fluid when defeated, so caution is advised. They attack by spitting yellow fluid. Finally, the Tarantula, a type Geg 3 spider zombie with 3 horsepower, encountered in stage 3. These are created from crabs and hang from ceilings, dropping down on prey. They move quickly and appear in groups, so avoid getting caught by them. This page showcases 2 formidable bosses from the game. First up is Chariot, the stage 1 boss, classified as type 27, with 480 horsepower. This enemy is described as being completely covered in metallic armor, and having a very aggressive nature, acting as a guard dog to repel intruders. It wields a massive axe and has claimed many victims. Interestingly, its chest wound is mentioned as a weakness, inflicted by a previous agent. While normally clad in armor, it seems chariots can shed it to move faster. The description also notes the numerous tentacles on its body are likely for absorbing nutrients from its victims. Next we have Hanged Man, the stage 2 boss, type 04, also with 480 horsepower. This is a bat-type enemy that dominates the sky and uses bats as its underlings to attack intruders. It's suggested that bats become nutrients for Hanged Man. The text refers to it taking Sophie back to the mansion and then monitoring her within. Despite being a zombie type, Hanged Man possesses a surprising level of intelligence, even capable of speaking human language, though its knowledge is mostly used for cunning strategies. This page introduces 2 more bosses from the game. First is Hermit, the stage 3 boss, a type 680B with 160 horsepower. Is described as a large, armored hermit crab-like zombie. Its shell is incredibly hard, but the limbs outside the shell are said to be soft and vulnerable. It uses long, extending arms with claw-like ends to attack, and can also spit a sticky liquid from its abdomen. It's mentioned as a pet-like creature of the character Curien, obeying his orders like a trained dog and attacking intruders. The text suggests that the zombie type found within the research facility, designated Hermit, is likely a subdivision of the It type. Next is Magician, the stage 4 boss, type 0, with 600 horsepower. It's described as the first ultimate enemy created to stand above humans, wielding fire freely and moving at high speed. It attacks by unleashing torrents of crimson flames. The text mentions it was still in development during its creation, and a problem identified was a vulnerability when attacking with fire. However, this weakness was not improved at this stage. Originally, Magician was intended to be a completely invincible and flawless existence, obedient to Curien's will, and programmed accordingly. However, a mysterious man intentionally altered its programming, resulting in it becoming an existence unbound by anyone's control. This page details the enemy part damage variation in the game. It explains that depending on where you hit a zombie-type enemy, the damage dealt varies. For humana-type enemies, you can divide them into parts, and each part has different damage values.
Hitting the same spot repeatedly can increase damage. The page provides damage variation tables for several enemy types, including Sam, HP 100, Nail, HP 120, Cyril, HP 160, Kageo, HP 90, Pulpin, HP 150, Ebitan A, HP 140, Ebitan B, HP 120, and Simon, HP 180. For each enemy, the table lists body parts, such as head, chest, waist, upper arm, lower arm, hand, thigh, shin, foot, and toe tip. The damage variation for each part is shown. For example, hitting the head generally deals the most damage across all enemy types, often in the range of 100 to 140 damage, while parts like the feet usually deal a fixed lower damage like 20. The chest area is another high damage zone, with values ranging from 50 to 80. The information on this page is crucial for players to understand enemy weaknesses and maximize their damage output by targeting vulnerable body parts during gameplay. This page continues to detail enemy part damage variations. It showcases more enemy types and their specific damage multipliers for different body parts. You have enemies like Gilmore, Harris, Robert, Sampson, Ventori, and Barner. Then there are Rubin, Drake, Moody, Barler, Kenfis, and Salzov. For each of these enemies, the tables show that hitting the head consistently deals the highest damage, which can increase across stages of damage. The chest area is another high damage zone, while areas like the waist, arms, hands, legs, shins, feet, and toes generally take less damage, often fixed at a lower value. These tables are useful for quickly understanding where to aim to maximize damage against these different enemy types. The game features 16 difficulty levels, 0 to 15, impacting enemy body part toughness and, to a lesser extent, health. Starting difficulty is determined by the initial game setting, with normal set at level 7. Boss battles are generally unaffected, except for minor damage adjustments in the Stage 4 boss. The game's dynamic difficulty system adjusts during gameplay. Difficulty increases by 1 level every 50 seconds, excluding bosses. Switching to 2-player mode increases difficulty by 4 levels. Reaching the continue screen drops difficulty by 4, but using a continue raises it by 2. Being hit by an enemy lowers the difficulty by 1 level. Difficulty affects damage dealt to enemies. Headshot damage remains constant, while damage to other body parts varies based on the level. For example, hitting Cyril's upper arm varies damage from 45, difficulty 0, to 5, difficulty 15. This page details the enemy part damage modifiers based on the difficulty level you are playing at. It presents 4 tables, each for different enemy types. The first table covers common enemies like Sam, Nail, Cyril, and others. The second table is for Salzo, Rubin, Drake, Moody, and Parler. There's a table specifically for Ebitan B, and finally, one for Kenfis. Each table breaks down damage modifiers for different body parts, such as the chest, waist, arms, hands, thighs, shins, ankles, and even toes for some, and tail for Ebitan B. These modifiers are shown across the 16 difficulty levels, from 0 to 15. Essentially, the higher the difficulty level, the lower the damage you'll inflict on enemy body parts, excluding headshots as mentioned on the previous page. For example, for common enemies, hitting the chest at difficulty level 0 gives a plus 3 damage modifier, while at difficulty level 15, it's a 30 modifier, showing a significant damage reduction at higher difficulties. This page highlights how the game dynamically adjusts enemy toughness based on the chosen difficulty. This page is the front cover of the official House of the Dead guidebook. It's a Sega official book published in 1998. The cover features the title, The House of the Dead, prominently at the top, with a gruesome zombie character taking up most of the image. Below the title, it mentions it's the official guide. You can also see the editorial and publishing credits listed, including the editor, writers, designers, supervisors, and publishers, all related to Sega and SoftBank companies. There's also standard publishing information, such as contact telephone numbers, copyright details for Sega and SoftBank, and the ISBN number. It seems to be the standard front cover information for a game guidebook of that era.
This page presents a striking image that immediately plunges you into the world of House of the Dead. We see a lone character in a suit, gun in hand, fiercely defending himself against a horde of grotesque zombies clawing their way out of a doorway. The scene is dramatic and intense, bathed in stark lighting that emphasizes the horror elements. The text to the right simply states, "The House of the Dead Guide," vertically, which is a clear indication that this page is an introduction to the guide itself, giving you a visual taste of the zombie action you can expect to encounter in the game and learn about in this book. It's a very effective way to set the tone and visually connect to the game's terrifying atmosphere. The next page appears to be the back cover of the guide. It features the SoftBank publishing logo and standard book identification information, such as the ISBN number, price of 1,100 yen plus tax, and barcodes. At the bottom, copyright information indicates it's from Sega Enterprises, Limited, and dated 1998. This page is purely administrative, providing essential publishing details for the guidebook. This page looks like the back cover of the guide, continuing the publishing information from the previous page. It's got the SoftBank logo again at the top left, and then details like the ISBN number, the C code, and the price of 1,100 yen plus tax. There's also the barcode and another number underneath. The bottom part of the cover lists key features or content of the guide itself, each point marked with a little gun icon. It mentions that the guide explains the crucial points of strategy that demand split-second decisions, using diagrams. It also says it covers strategy routes that change based on your actions, explained with maps. Techniques for boss battles are covered completely, and also highlights character introductions, specifically for newly appearing characters. Finally, it mentions setting materials that delve into hidden mysteries. The copyright at the very bottom again confirms it's from Sega Enterprises, Limited and dated 1998.